Bronny James. Bronny James, Stephen A., has declared for the 2024 NBA draft after just one season at USC. We're going to bring Jay Williams in for this. S.A., hey, Jay. How are you? Jay, live from Arizona.
Hey, Molly. Hold on. S.A., time out before you go. Molly.
Yes, sir.
A lot of things have been going on today. We had an earthquake going on in New York.
Jay,
I get it.
An earthquake.
You've been showing a lot of shoulder, a lot of Patrick Swayze Dirty Dancing shoulder going on. What's going on here? What are we doing?
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. But do you know what my real favorite line from that movie is? If anyone's watched Dirty Dancing, is when she walks into the party. And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I carried a watermelon. And then she walks away and she's like, oh my gosh, I carried a watermelon. Like she feels like such a loser. Do you know that moment? I've had that so many times in my life.
We don't remember that.
No.
But here's the deal. The big thing about this segment right here is when Jay Williams said, what's all of this? What's all that was the real thing. What's all of this?
What am I gonna do? Come on TV with a sweatshirt up to my neck? I had to like get a little décolleté action.
You could have done better. You could have done better. But let's move on. You could have done better.
I like it, Molly. It works. You got it.
Jay, Bronny James is about to do better. He's entering the NBA draft. Talk to me about your reaction to this, leaving USC so quickly, him playing potentially with his father. I want your take.
So, anyway, earlier in the year with him and Isaiah Collier, just because of the way things were going down with Andy Kennedy and the opportunity that it just didn't feel like they had a lot of connectivity there with how that was managed, first off. So I talked to people internally about that throughout the course of the season. For me, this is just Bronny James checking out his options, right? Going into the transfer portal, why not go through all the workouts? I know people are going to jump to conclusions like he's definitely going into the draft. Why not see the entire landscape? So open up the portal, see what opportunities are there, go into all these pre-draft workouts, go through the routine, see where you're going to be, see what, Rich Paul and company, what they're going to talk about as it relates to what potential teams you could go to. If that's, late first round, early second, and then weigh out all your options. I think it's a smart move. I'm not going to jump to conclusions by saying Bronny's definitely going to the draft. He's just seeing what the entire landscape looks like.
Well, listen. I certainly don't want to dismiss that, and I'm not disagreeing with you, Jay. Not at all. All I'm speaking about is the ultimate impact the decision is going to bring. You had a health scare. You come into your first year in college. You average less than 5 points a game, and now you enter in the NBA draft. So inevitably, that's going to bring the scrutiny of being LeBron James' son as opposed to being Bronny James. No fault of his own. Certainly nothing intentionally at fault on the part of LeBron James, who's being nothing more than a loving father who loves and believes in his son and wants the best for his son. And I certainly don't mean to imply otherwise. I'm just talking about, even though the scrutiny is always out there for any of us, for that matter, particularly in this day and age where everybody thinks they got a voice and everybody's got something to say on social media and beyond, the reality of the situation is that because of who he is and what his situation has entailed, even though you're going to look and view your options or whatever, most people are going to be thinking about what option. The option should only be staying in college because you haven't done enough to show that you're ready for the next level. Fair or unfair, because of who his daddy is, that is what is going to happen, which is why, Jay, I've made it a point, I've never watched him. I never watched him except for when he finally came to USC. I never went to his high school games, even though you know how often I'm in L.A. I never went to any games. I've never critiqued him because I knew that the world was going to be so incredibly unfair to him. And I'm really, really rooting for him to be every bit as good as his dad and his mom and his family believes he's going to be.
So, S.A., I hear you on the level of scrutiny that he's going to receive, right? But at the end of the day, if you're Bronny, you can't worry about what everybody has to say. You know how many kids are entering the portal or how many kids are entering the draft to go through the workout process? You have a lot of kids that are nowhere close to the physical talent. And I get what the numbers translate to. Right. And I'm not sitting up here saying that, yeah, Bronny James is definitely going to be a first-round draft pick. But there's so many kids that are going through what that process is like that, to me, this just fits suit with what other people are doing, right?
Right.
We have so many kids that are kids at Duke that are thinking about going to the draft. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? They're like, no, I'm just seeing what my options are, and I want to go through the process of going to workouts. That's what it is to me.
And I don't disagree with you. And I root for him, and I see his athleticism. I see his defensive prowess. They talk about his basketball IQ, et cetera, et cetera. So all the best to him. I'll never root against the kid. What I'm saying to you, however, is this. Not only is he not just any kid, he's LeBron James' son. But I'm not even talking about that, Jay. I'm talking about the attention LeBron has brought to him by speaking about him in the way that he has. I want to play with my son in the NBA. I'll stay here and I'll leave the team that I'm with to go to wherever team drafts him and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of nuggets that have been thrown out there that people look at. Listen, you heard them talking about him as a McDonald All-American. You hear them fantasizing about him in the NBA and wondering what his father has to do with that. Fair or unfair? And again, Molly, Jay, LeBron had nothing but the best intentions, I am quite sure. But because of those nuggets of verbiage he threw out there, that has put even more on his son. And that is what I'm talking about.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them going, try to wear, I pull up all brains. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's 88 over here,